We continue our flooding coverage tonight with the latest along the Missouri River and the damage it's causing. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to INN News. I'm Mike Mickle. A levee breach in Iowa has crews scrambling to contain the water. This is the scene near Hamburg, Iowa. The river breached the Missouri levee yesterday. Right now, hundreds of people who were evacuated are still waiting to go home. The state of Iowa had to use U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopters to drop sandbags on the levee. Here's one big reason for that breach. Record levels of waters are gushing through all 14 gates at Gavins Point Dam near Yankton, South Dakota. The dam is releasing 100,000 cubic feet of water per second into the Missouri River. That's pushing the river well over its banks. Spring rain is adding to the problem. Here's a look at the numbers farther downriver in Nebraska and Iowa. Now near Hamburg, the Missouri is flowing at just under 30 feet. Flood stage is 29. It's expected to keep climbing to 32 feet by Friday. That's according to the National Weather Service. It is unclear at this point when it will crest. Meanwhile, crews and volunteers in the Hamburg area are working to contain the breach. Jonathan Athens from our affiliate KPTM in Omaha has more.
That gate right here and that south post were covered last year.
Hamburg, Iowa is considered the cornerstone of the state, but the portion of that cornerstone might end up underwater. Early this morning, the levees were breached along the Missouri River in Atchison County, Missouri. That's because the Army Corps of Engineers had to release some of the dams in Montana and the Dakotas. A farmer who's about to be flooded out took us to see his property. He did not want to go on camera, but here's what he thinks.
We're going to have this problem next year. We had it last year. We didn't evacuate the water like they should have over the winter in preparation or soon enough. They held the water up there because of the water down in Missouri and down in Arkansas and Tennessee. So now we've got more water to evacuate in less time.
This woman is trying to convince her elderly father to leave his house.
He's going to stay. He's going to talk about staying here tonight. My dad can't swim, and he's 79 years old, and I'm worried about his health. This has been very, very stressful.
Matt, get over here. You're better at this.
How many bags do you think you're going to fill?
Millions. Too many? A lot.
You know, this is true Iowans right here. You know, you can't find anybody better than the small town Iowans that you meet every day. And it's just, it's great. It's great seeing these everybody pull together and help one another.
600 people in Hamburg, Iowa had to flee their homes, and there's no telling when the river levels will subside. Until then, the only thing that the people can do is either pull together or pull out. Jonathan Athens reporting for INN News.
And similar scenes in other parts of the country. In Texas, El Paso fire officials say a levee breach has flooded more than 30 homes. Crews evacuated more than 100 people. The neighborhood is full of senior citizens, many with health issues. Fire officials say some of those homes may be damaged beyond repair. From flooding now to a massive fire. Crews in Arizona are still making no progress against a raging wildfire. The Wallow Fire is torching land in the eastern part of the state. More than 193,000 acres so far, and crews still have 0% of it contained. Strong winds are fueling the flames, but the weather is bringing no rain. Hundreds of evacuated homes have been destroyed. No serious injuries, though, reported yet.
It's very devastating to a lot of the families, the people who work up here, just the whole community. It's scary. I see black smoke and I panic, you know.
More than 1,300 firefighters are on the scene. This is the third largest wildfire in Arizona's history. Dominique Strauss-Kahn pleads not guilty to charges he sexually assaulted a maid at a New York hotel. This is video of the former chief of the International Monetary Fund leaving his home and arriving at the courthouse this morning. He's being held under house arrest at a Manhattan townhouse. Strauss-Kahn faces 7 charges. Prior to the incident, he was considered a frontrunner in France's next presidential race. Former NFL star Plaxico Burress is now a free man. The former New York Giant spent the last 20 months in prison on a weapons charge. He got in trouble in 2008. That's when he took a gun to a New York nightclub and accidentally shot himself in the leg. Burress was not licensed to carry a gun. He reportedly wants to play football again. A disagreement over jail time derailed last-minute plea negotiations in the John Edwards case. That's according to a source close to the prosecutor's office. The former presidential candidate was indicted Friday. That's on charges he used campaign contributions to hide an affair and child with his mistress in 2008. just before he was in plea negotiations. Sources say Edwards was prepared to take a plea, but they say he backed out when prosecutors insisted on at least 6 months in jail. Former Pennsylvania Senator Rick Santorum makes it official. He is running for president. The GOP hopeful made his formal announcement today on Good Morning America. He's been campaigning as a likely candidate for months. The announcement kicks off a campaign swing through Iowa and New Hampshire. In addition to his fiscal views, Santorum is an outspoken supporter of socially conservative positions. Retiring U.S. Defense Secretary Robert Gates is touring Afghanistan to thank the troops before he leaves office. Sunday's visit was his 12th trip to the country. It comes as the U.S. will soon begin a gradual drawdown of forces in Afghanistan. That's scheduled to begin in July. It could take 18 months to 2 years. Leaders want to balance that with keeping the gains troops have fought and died for during the 10-year war.
I feel your hardship and your sacrifice and your burden and that of your families more than you can possibly know. You are, I believe, the best our country has to offer.
President Obama has nominated CIA Chief Leon Panetta to replace Gates as Secretary of Defense. The U.S. still won't confirm the death of a top al-Qaeda leader in a missile strike. Pakistani officials, however, say al-Qaeda's second-in-command is dead. They say he was killed in a U.S. missile strike in Pakistan on Friday. He was one of the most wanted terrorists in the world and was considered a possible successor to bin Laden. He's accused of masterminding the attacks on the hotel in Mumbai that killed 166 people. In global news now, a deadly day in Iraq. At least 25 people are dead in a series of bomb attacks. 5 of the victims are U.S. soldiers. Most of the victims are Iraqi security forces. The attacks coincide with a deadline set by the Prime Minister to make reforms or be fired. Most were carried out by suicide bombers. Hundreds of people run as a volcano erupts in Chile. It happened in the southern part of the country, forcing the evacuation of some 600 people. The area around the volcano was put on alert after a flurry of earthquakes. Government officials have been holding an emergency meeting to discuss the situation. No reports of any injuries. A major aftershock rocks New Zealand. The 5.5 earthquake rattled the Canterbury region this morning. It's the 6th biggest to hit the country since the massive quake struck Christchurch in September. Security cameras in a grocery store and shops caught the shaking. Fortunately, there was little damage and no one was hurt. And in China, celebrating the Duanwu holiday with a traditional dragon boat festival. The races are held as part of the celebrations. The event in Beijing attracted thousands of people. Participants make offerings to the water, hoping to please the spirits and fish. It's in honor of a sacred scholar who drowned himself after being banished from court by corrupt officials 2,000 years ago. And that's your global news now. And there's still more to come on INN News when we get back. Shocking moments for kids and parents as a gust of wind turns a day of fun into a terrifying afternoon. We'll hear from the kids inside this inflatable house as it took off. Plus a big breakthrough in the fight against the deadliest form of skin cancer, one man's story of survival, and what it could mean for others with the disease. And we want to remind you INN News is on Facebook. You can also find us on Twitter at INN News Network. And we're on YouTube. All of this reaching out to you so you can reach out to us. INN News. We'll be right back.
In this box is what I need to control my diabetes, to stay healthy, and get on with my life. It comes from Liberty Medical. And now, it's not only where I get my diabetes testing supplies, but it's where I get my prescription drugs as well. See, if you're on Medicare, the cost of your diabetes testing supplies, as well as your prescription drugs, may be covered. Liberty takes care of all the paperwork with Medicare and sends the prescription forms directly to your doctor for approval. Then on your schedule, packs up this box and sends it right to your door with no charge for shipping.
Liberty assures you have what you need to manage your diabetes, and that starts with a free meter. Call today and get a free meter. Plus, when you join, you'll also get a free cookbook.
Call Liberty. They can help you live a better life.
Call 1-800-503-6627. 1-800-503-6627. Car owners, does your vehicle have less than 120,000 miles on it? Is it less than 10 years old? Is your current auto warranty about to expire? Well, Cover America Auto Care has a very special offer just for you. With current economic conditions causing bankruptcies and a downturn in new car sales, Cover America Auto Care now offers inexpensive mechanical breakdown coverage direct to the public. You can save thousands of dollars on auto repairs. A toll-free line has been made available so car owners can call and get a free no-obligation quote. This auto protection is backed by an A-rated insurance carrier. Plus, you get a claims department that has an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. 24-hour emergency roadside assistance is also included. You will be amazed at how much you can save on future car repair bills. So call for your free, no-obligation quote now. Do not wait. Get covered today and rest easy tonight.
Good evening, everybody. I'm INN meteorologist Pat Walker. Well, you've heard about the wildfires in Arizona on the New Mexico border. Very hot, dry conditions in the desert Southwest and red flag warnings in the Four Corners. Most of Arizona under red flag warnings. Southeastern Colorado and western Kansas, northwestern Oklahoma, and parts of the Panhandles, too. The red flag warning means high winds and dangerously dry conditions are really kindling for a fire to get started, if not already started. So a lot of dry air and a lot of heat in those locations, and also a lot of heat into the Midwest and even in toward the East Coast too. Really, we're looking at excessive heat advisories in the Quad Cities of Illinois and Iowa, Kansas City and St. Louis also with heat advisories for the next couple of days, an excessive heat warning in Minneapolis and St. Paul until Wednesday, and starting Wednesday into Thursday, an excessive heat watch for the Philly area. So the heat in the Midwest will be shifting into the East Coast as we get to the mid part of the week, as storms eventually will be moving into the Midwest behind all that. So here's what we're looking at across the entire country. Storm system in the west, a few storms in the north, and some toward the south. And the jet stream flows like this: a big dip in the west, and then the big ridge right in the middle part of the country. And so this is the big area of high pressure. That's where all the heat is underneath that, and that's where we're seeing the cooler air back where the area of low pressure is, and some rainfall too. Under all this is the hazy, hot, humid conditions and temperatures in many locations up to 100 degrees or so. So some storms earlier today in Wisconsin. We could see some severe weather breaking out in Michigan later on today. In the southeast along the Gulf Coast, we've already begun to see those afternoon thunderstorms developing. They will be dying out. And then on the west coast is where we're seeing all this rainfall, where the cool air is and the rainy conditions, and some very heavy rainfall possible too. Flash flood watches in the dark green in Idaho and eastern Oregon. Flood watches in the lighter shade of green. And these flood watches are in locations that are in the river basin of the Missouri River, which is seeing record flooding in South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, and into Missouri. And also flood warning still along the Mississippi River too. So we're going to put water into these basins for these rivers. So that's not the best of news in the coming days. Notice this in the Dakotas and Montana. For the Missouri Valley, yellow means at least 1 inch, orange 2 inches. So some locations we're going to be seeing 1 to 2 inches rainfall put into that area that doesn't need the rainfall. Threat of severe weather, including tornadoes perhaps in Montana and in Michigan tonight. And then as we go into tomorrow, threat of severe weather highest perhaps in northern Minnesota, also over toward Philadelphia could see the threat of severe weather. And into Wednesday, we're finally going to start seeing that jet stream pushing farther toward the east. Cooler air will finally begin to make its way in the middle part of the country, but from Wisconsin down to Kansas City and over in the high plains of Wyoming, we'll see that threat of severe weather. So overnight tonight, look at these 70s all the way up to Chicago for overnight lows. So the heat at night and also during the day, and the cooler temperatures definitely stay out west.
Apple is showing off its newest toys, plus the victims of Ponzi scheme mastermind Bernie Madoff are getting some of their money back. That and more as we get back to business. Apple CEO Steve Jobs making a rare public appearance to announce the launch of the latest Apple products. The most anticipated items, the Lion operating system and the iCloud. Jobs made his last public appearance with the company back in March when he announced the iPad 2. He was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in 2003 and had a liver transplant in 2009. He defrauded thousands of investors of billions of dollars in a Ponzi scheme. Now victims of Bernie Madoff are getting a little money back. Hundreds of items taken from Madoff's Palm Beach, Florida mansion were sold at auction over the weekend. Fishing lures, more than 400 pairs of Italian shoes, and lots of paintings, plus a series of watches worth more than 30 grand each. India makes its biggest ever defense spending deal with a U.S. company. The country approved buying 10 Boeing C-17 military cargo planes. The price tag, $4.1 billion. The C-17s are heavy-lift aircraft that can transport troops, vehicles, and artillery. And that's back to business. And there's still more to come on INN News. Young kids playing on a sunny afternoon, then a strong wind whipped them off the ground and threw them around like leaves. And it's on tape. See how it all ended. That and more next on INN.
If you're in debt to the IRS for $10,000 or more, you don't have to take desperate measures to settle your account. All you have to do is put the right people to work for you. And that's as simple as calling this number. You'll speak to a tax expert who can help you negotiate a settlement that's significantly less than the actual amount you owe. Many are former IRS agents who have inside knowledge that you can't get elsewhere. And that can make all the difference in the world.
They saved my business.
I owed $30,000 and paid a fraction of it.
The threatening letter stopped immediately.
I got great advice, and they did all the work.
If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, you owe it to yourself and your family to call this number and get your case settled for less. Now, you only have a small window of time to settle, so act now.
For a free tax analysis, call 800-903-7750. There is no obligation. Call 800-903-7750 now.
This is what evil looks like up close. It's The Nazis, a warning from history on DVD. The shocking filmed record of a world gone mad. From deep within secret German archives comes footage so unnerving, it still can't be shown on television. If you believe we can learn from the past, this is one collection you absolutely must own. Get it now on 4 DVDs for just $59.99. But wait, call with your credit card and you'll pay only $39.99. It's so important you see this. We'll pay your shipping. That's an additional savings of nearly $7. Look into the face of evil. Try not to blink. Call now to get The Nazis, a warning from history on 4 DVDs for just $39.99. We'll ship it for free.
Call 1-800-214-3086 to order Nazis, a warning from history for $39.99 and receive free shipping when you call in the next 10 minutes with your credit card or order online at timelife.com/Nazi.
Welcome back, everyone. Frightening moments this weekend for parents and children in New York. Strong winds picked up inflatable playhouses and tossed them around with kids inside. It was all caught on tape. Elizabeth Corden recaps the dramatic events that unfolded on camera.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
An afternoon of fun turned dangerous on Long Island. A parent captured this dramatic video on camera Saturday. It's one of 3 inflatable rides at a soccer outing that became airborne when a gust of wind swept across the field. When the rides landed, they rolled. Onlookers rushed to help the children inside.
And I just happened to turn around and I saw the slide blowing in the wind. And I couldn't believe it. It was like something out of a movie.
Among the 13 injured were these 2 little girls. One was waiting in line for her turn when a loose rope from a ride hooked her neck.
I just felt like someone was grabbing my neck and they were dragging me.
Witnesses say parents did whatever they could to stop the rides from taking off again. One person even slashed a bounce house with a knife to knock out the air.
There have been several similar incidents already this year. Most of those have been in Arizona. Workers at a Missouri shoe store got a shock when a car came crashing through the building. It smashed through the front window of the shoe carnival around 10 o'clock Sunday morning. Police say the driver hit the gas by mistake instead of the brake. The collision left a large hole in the front of the building. Thankfully, no one inside was hurt.
I yelled at all of our associates. I was like, a car's coming in, run. And then I ran straight to the back of the store, and glass was like, I felt glass flying at me as I was running, and they were smashed into the store. And then I came up as soon as I heard everything stop to make sure everyone was okay.
The driver and his passenger weren't hurt either. No word yet on any charges. Well, the plane made famous by its amazing landing in New York's Hudson River is now on its final trip. The U.S. Airways plane is in Harrison, New Jersey. It's being shipped all the way to an aviation museum in Charlotte, North Carolina. Pretty challenging for the driver. That story made headlines in early 2009 when Captain Sully Sullenberger was forced to land it in the Hudson River after a bird strike damaged its engines. And it may look like a swollen river is to blame for this flooding in a Massachusetts town, but it's actually from a single water main break. The 30-inch main broke last night in Cambridge. Crews are still working to plug the leak. They don't know what caused it to rupture in the first place. Coming up next in your health, a big breakthrough in treating the deadliest form of skin cancer. The drug and one man's story of its dramatic results.
Stay tuned for an exciting money-making opportunity from SMC. Would you like to make more money, set your own hours, and spend more time with your family? Well, now you can with SMC.
I'm an SMC believer. I'm going to tell you what, it's an opportunity for anybody to get in and have a home-based business and be successful.
Mothers around the world should do this, yes, and they can stay home with their kids.
I don't have to be bothered with the hectic day-to-day working for someone else. I'm working for myself.
I just wish now I'd have done this 10 or 15 years ago. It's the best thing that ever happened to me.
SMC supports its members with a huge warehouse stocked with thousands of products that you can sell for profits of up to 300% and more. Call right now to request your free information packet. And remember to ask your operator how you can jumpstart your business with $100 worth of free SMC merchandise.
Just pick up the phone and call this toll-free number now. Remember, you have absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Bishop Walter Hawkins made love come alive with timeless gospel classics. Now Love Alive is back and sounding better than ever. Presenting the Love Alive collection. Love Alive 1, Love Alive 2, and Love Alive 3, all for just $24.99. But wait, order in the next 10 minutes with your credit card, and we'll cut the price to just $14.99. Then preview other great gospel collections. Satisfaction guaranteed. So don't wait. Get the Love Alive collection. 3 classic CDs for just $14.99.
Call 1-800-443-1356 to order the Love Alive collection on 3 CDs for just $14.99 plus shipping when you call in the next 10 minutes with your credit card. Call now.
Researchers have just reported a big break in fighting melanoma. That's the most serious form of skin cancer. Allie Gorman talked with one patient who has seen dramatic results.
Put it down. You ready? Go.
Phillies fan Corky Corcoran had barely begun retirement when melanoma struck. Not on his skin, but inside his body.
I started hemorrhaging, bleeding.
It took about 6 months until doctors realized Corky had metastatic melanoma, meaning it had spread through his body. They surgically removed some tumors, but couldn't take all of them. Doctors say current treatments for metastatic melanoma typically don't work very well. So instead of receiving traditional chemotherapy, Corky was able to get into early trials, testing a new drug known as RG7204. It targets a genetic mutation half of all melanoma patients have, called BRAF. BRAF drives cancer growth.
That's what you take twice a day.
Corky says the new drug is easy to take, 4 pills twice a day, but he's even happier about what it's done to his tumors.
3 of them just seem to disappear.
And he's had no new tumors pop up since taking the drug. Dr. Ravi Amiravati at Penn's Abramson Cancer Center says the best result from previous drugs for metastatic melanoma was a 20% response rate. But with RG7204,
truly about 80% of patients benefited in some way with some form of tumor shrinkage.
But the new drug does come with possible side effects such as a rash and fatigue. And Corky is among the 20% of patients who had another side effect, squamous cell skin cancers. He's had about 100 growths removed so far, but says he'll gladly deal with that compared to the more aggressive melanoma.
This drug, if it continues to work the way it is working, it is fantastic.
That was Allie Gorman reporting. To breast cancer now, and a new study shows an existing drug may reduce risk of the disease in postmenopausal women. Women taking exemestane saw their risk of developing breast cancer cut in half. Scientists say the drug may be used as a preventative measure for millions of women who are at high risk. Other drugs exist on the market, but they are widely unpopular because they can cause blood clots or uterine cancer in rare cases. And there's still more to come. Forget just going for a walk. These dogs are hitting the waves. That story's next on INN.
It was the hippest trip in America. The music, the styles, and the stars. It was Soul Train. And now, for the first time ever, Time Life presents the Best of Soul Train on 3 DVDs for just $39.99. And if you call in the next 10 minutes with your credit card, Time Life will pay your shipping and handling. What they do? You'll get 50 guest performances and over 8 hours of the greatest entertainment. You'll get all the great dancing, the cool fashions, the great music, fabulous guest performances, and a priceless set of memories. You'll once again be line dancing to some of the greatest soul music and artists of all time. Now you can own the Best of Soul Train on 3 DVDs for just $39.99. This collection is very special.
As an added bonus, get a free Soul Train ringtone with your order. Call 1-800-716-8618 to order Soul Train and receive free shipping when you call in the next 10 minutes with your credit card.
Experience Bare Minerals, the foundation that started the makeup revolution. Are you ready for flawless coverage and makeup that is actually good for your skin? Now you can get our new kit for over 75% off what you'd pay at retail. Our exclusive introductory Get Started kit includes the award-winning Bare Minerals Foundation. You'll also receive warmth for a healthy glow, Mineral Veil, the ultimate finishing touch, and Bare Minerals Professional Flawless Application Brush. Call now and receive our new bonus collection worth $57.95 free, including the highly anticipated Flawless Definition Mascara. Purchased separately, you'd spend over $120. Our original Get Started kit was a great deal at 2 payments of $29.99. But for a limited time, you get all this, including the bonus gifts, for only 1 payment of $29.99. You save over $90 and get a 30-day money-back guarantee.
To save over 75%, order now by calling 1-800-200-8130 and ask how you can receive this free handy compact with brush with your order.
Here's something you don't see every day. Dogs are going surfing to raise money in California. More than 60 canines and their owners hit the waves this weekend. It's for a charity that helps public school teachers get some much-needed school supplies. In case you were wondering, the top small dog, an Australian Kelpie, a golden retriever, took home first in the large dog category. I'm Mike Mickle. From all of us here at INN, thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see you back here tomorrow.